Hey guys, it's me again, back again with another deck profile. So today we're gonna go through my Modred Phantom deck profile. So for starters, we are running Fullbau because he's been a good boy since the very start. We are gonna continue using him. So we're gonna start off with the Great Trees. Of course, 4 copies, Modred Phantom, like it's about him. Next, everyone's favorite, we are playing 1 copy of Danger Zone. So Danger Zone basically allows us for really good finish. And you know, just stack all the force markers and just go for the finish on him. We definitely gotta have him if you're gonna play Modred Phantom. They just go together. One of the new cards, we are playing Lockout. So Lockout skill is on place, Vanguard or Rearguard. If your opponent is grade 3 or higher, you counter blast 2 and you retire any number of your own Rearguards. Then your opponent chooses the same number and retire them. So it's like a very good control card against Exile Cleanse. But it only works when your opponent's grade 3 or higher, so it only works going second. So if against Aqua Force, they feed you so a lot of damage, then you can consider using a skill. But the main reason of why he's in this deck is for his second skill, which is an Act skill, where you bind 3 grade 1s from your drop zone and you draw a card. So it's not limited to once per turn, so you can fully utilize all that useless grade 1s in your drop zone, and you can turn them into additional card draw. Which is really good. Card draw is really what this deck lacks, and being able to draw cards is really good. You know, turning all that grade 1s into additional draw. And because it's an X skill, so you can keep him behind the Vanguard circle and you can just keep drawing cards every turn if you're able to, you know, fulfill the 3 grade 1s in the drop zone skill. Next, this is the last grade 3 we are playing the deck. Paladin. So Paladin is common grade 3. But his skill is actually really powerful. He's like a kind of like a monster reborn for this deck, but we have to pay a cost. So the cost is counter blast 1, and you retire 2 other rearguards, and from your drop zone you recur a unit that is of the sum of the retired rearguards or lower. So it has to be equal to or less than. So basically you can use up all the mains. So you retire 2 domains, that's a sum of grade 2, you can bring back and blast it out. And both him and the recurred unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. So that's really powerful, being able to recur any units from our drop zone. So we can bring back Danger Zone, you know, if your opponent gets rid of him, you know, they think you won't have another copy and you just bring him out. And then the recurred unit gets plus 10,000 power. So very powerful. And it also is the reason why we're able to run lesser copies of Danger Zone in this deck. So, of course, the MVP, 4 copies blasted up. The Sword of Darkness, of course, you have to run 4. Then his Pal, Masquerade, Nullity Revenger Masquerade, helps us search the Blaster Arcs and Modred Phantoms. Can't go wrong, 13k. Then 2 of a new card, Darkbright Dragon. So Darkbright Dragon's on-play skill, you mill the top 3 cards of your deck and he gets 5,000 power. So if you mill a grade 1, you can counter blast 1 to draw a card. So like I was saying, this deck really lacks draw power, so Darkbright Dragon makes up for that. And also, yeah, he's a 15k, so it helps with the early push of the deck, because previously this deck doesn't really have that good of a early game aggression. They don't have that many good rearguards for grade 2, so Darkbright Dragon really helps with that. And for the last grade 2, we are playing 1 copy of Modred Spear Dragon. So Modred Spear Dragon, in contrast to Darkbright, he doesn't really net you a plus. All he does is 1-for-1 filter, no plus. You soul blast 1, you ditch a card, and you get 5,000 power. I mean, you ditch 1 and you draw 1. So if you ditched a grade 1, you get 10,000 power instead. So he becomes a 20k beater, and he works on Vanguard Rearguard Circle as well. So he helps with the early aggression and is a decent ride as well. Now moving on to the grade 1s, we are playing 4 of them. Broken Grade, one of the most broken cards in Shadow Paladin ever released. That is Scourge the Man, of course. And then her partner, Swordbreaker. We running at least 3 copies because we really want to see her. Like, she helps us draw, and being on place from hand, you can blast 1 to draw and get 5,000 power, being a 10k unit. It's just really powerful, helps with the draw engine of the deck. Next, for the grade ones, we're playing one copy of Corner. So Corner really offers good defense for the deck. Being able to guard with it, and then Soul Blast 1 move one of our grade ones and intercept, so helps with defense of the deck and utilizes our soul. So she's a good way to help you get the Blaster Dart out of the soul if you need to recur it. Next is 4 copies of one of the strongest grade ones released in the set, and that's Brenwan. So she's a really good generic grade 3 searcher. On place, you just look at the top 5 and you see a grade 3 you like, you just pick it. And that's one of the reasons why we're able to play this one-off grade 3s in the deck. It's because we have a grade 3 searcher that's like on place, and it works on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. So this is probably your most ideal grade 1 right? You write this, you draw a card first of your starting Vanguard, and you just look at the top 5. So you cannot go wrong with riding Modred Phantom. You're gonna get it like all the time. You know, with Masquerade and Brenwan, you just cannot ride wrongly. So there's no fear of that. And she has a bonus skill which she gets 5000 power if you have 3 or more grade 1s in your drop zone. So that's really nice. It makes her a 13k booster. So that's just an additional bonus, like a 13k booster or a 13k attacker. So making for really nice numbers. Next up, we are playing 2 copies of Masquerade. So Transient Revenger Masquerade, he's just a solid 11k booster or 8k unit. So we do not want to be running that many grade 1s that are 5k, because if you go second, you ride 5k. Like seriously, that really hurts. Like we don't want to be doing that. So he's still a really solid unit, helping us get our Blaster Darks. Early game, you can just call it down for 11k, making really nice columns. So yep, so 2 copies. And for the last final grade 1, I'm playing 1 copy of Fullbau. So the reason why Fullbau is in this deck is because previously I mentioned I'm playing Darkbright Dragon. So when Darkbright Dragon mills a grade 1, so it's like in the main or whatever, or Swordbreaker, and like let's say you don't have a Nemain already on your field, you're able to rest the Fullbau and the unit in front of Fullbau, and you're able to bring back the Nemain, so you can start your whole Nemain engine shenanigans. So 1 copy, really very good. For our trigger lineups, of course, 4 heals, 4 draw BGs, and the 8 critical triggers, because I think it's foolish to run any lesser than 8 crits in Shadow Paladin, because you're already hitting for quite high numbers on your your Modred Phantom turns, and you really need crits for Danger Zone to end the enemy when they are at 3 damage and you hit them with 3 crits. So this deck, in terms of where it stands in the meta right now, it's a really solid A tier deck. It's able to compete with all the meta decks. Probably, of course, Vanquisher still does better, but that is, of course, Vanquisher is the best deck in the format right now, but it's still one of the best Force decks. It stands alongside Chronofang Rebellion and the Melody Pacifica and the Melody build. So there are some cards for consideration in this deck as well. So I've considered playing the Curse Lancer, because there are some counterblast problems with the deck. It goes through counterblast so fast you have to take precaution, and also Curse Lancer is a really good early game aggression card, because you can call it down, use up all your counterblast on turn 2, and you call the Curse Lancer, you have a 20k beater. So if anything, I would replace the Morian Spear in my deck with the Curse Lancer. Next up is Onyx Dust Dragon. So previously I was running 2 copies of this card in the deck, but the thing is, yep, he's good. He's like, basically he's your additional Blaster Dart, and he's a 13k booster, but most of the time I found it to be really cloggy in the early game. So most of the time in the early game you would not want to see this card in your hand anyways, so I would mulligan it back, and so it's kind of a card where if you see it, it's good for you. If you don't see it, then it's whatever as well. So yeah, I don't really think there's a need for it. Next up is 1 copy of Fallen Dive Eagle. This card is very good as we are transiting into the Force meta, but if the new Force decks are able to have retiring skills where they can get rid of their front row easily, maybe like Chrono Fang can, so then it will not be very good for the meta. So unless they do not have easy retirement skills, then this card will probably see play again. And for the last great one, that is Moda. So she's a 5k unit and she's the Blaster Dark booster, which is able to stand when Blaster Dark stands in the same column as her. It's really good, but it's kind of useless in early game. So it only works when you're on your Modred Phantom turn, so that's turn 3, and that's turn 3 if you're going second. So other than that, it's just a 5k vanilla. So it really is it's a card. If you see it, then good for you. If you don't see it, then you don't really need it as well. So there's no point. I really want to run a card that's only good on turn 3 going second or turn 4 going first. So yup, this deck is really good, and this build is an interesting build. So I hope you guys find success with it. Bye bye.